You want to know the recipe for how to make a criminal? Just ask a Punjabi dad. I know that sounds harsh. I know it sounds horrible. But what we have here is wounded boys turning into wounded men, becoming fathers, and then raising, yep, you got it, another generation of wounded boys. So, what happens when you don't get your basic needs met at home? Yes, there's the obvious ones that our parents do a fantastic job of meeting, more or less, most of the time: food, shelter, water. But what about those deeper emotional needs? Because we're social creatures. We're not robots. We're not machines, as much as some of our parents would like us to be. We also need to feel loved, safe, like we belong, and have some semblance of acceptance. So for boys, they're biologically and primitively wired to really yearn for that validation from their fathers. But if a father is always emotionally vacant, maybe physically absent, whether it's bad habits pulling him away from the family structure, seemingly perceived good habits like being a provider, either way, the actual needs are not being met. So then what happens when you have a bubble like Surrey where, or even let's say in Punjab, in India, where you have a collective, a group of young brown boys who are all having the same missing needs, and they all come together like this microcosm, this recipe for disaster waiting to happen. Well, you're going to get the adrenaline, the dopamine. Some of those needs are going to be superficially met, but in all the wrong ways. If you've never had a blueprint for good role modeling in terms of self-care, going to the gym, playing catch, being helped with your homework, you're not going to walk that path. That's not going to be your trajectory, making good lifestyle choices. You're going to do what makes you feel good. You're going to do what feeds the beast inside, what tames that pain, what kind of pours a little bit of water on it, which is to go mess around, do hood rat shit with your friends. And eventually there's a domino effect to that. It accumulates. And all of a sudden, because of that lack of a proper authority figure, you end up occasionally under the wing of a very sociopathic and antisocial authority figure. Now, these archetypes, yes, they're very wounded themselves, but they have that extra caveat to them, which is they enjoy inflicting suffering. So when we look at the kingpins, the big names in the criminal world, yes, they have their childhood trauma, but usually they also have something biological and innate going on. There's some sort of natural enjoyment of inflicting suffering and having power and authority. So when you have vulnerable, susceptible, wounded, and kind of displaced youth, let's say 18 to 25-year-olds, looking for some sort of acceptance and belonging, looking for some sort of kinship, looking for an authority figure to fall under the wing of, it's a really easy trajectory to end up on. Add in the nuanced layers of what's going on with the students and them not wanting to go back, but maybe not having status here. Oh goodness, now that is really a recipe for disaster. So when we are being bombarded with these WhatsApp videos and these news articles and headlines of day after day, all this really terrible, horrible, surreal, scary stuff, maybe we don't have to scratch our heads in confusion so much as to how we got here. Maybe being very hyperfixated on affluence, but not giving the offspring proper tools or any type of role modeling about how to walk a moral path in life, it was a little bit of an inevitable slope that we were going to hit as a society, as a bunch. What are your thoughts and feelings? Am I oversimplifying it? Is saying it's a bunch of boys' father wounds really not capturing what's actually going on here? Do you think it's more than that? Is that reaching? Let me know in the comments.